the Milestone Inspection Report, which is for condos, specifically in Florida. Tell us a little about how that came about, what they're doing, fill us in.
There was a structural issue with a condominium. So this has been, the Milestone Inspection Reports has kind of been the Florida legislature's response to that very tragic event.
Welcome back to Really Mary. Super excited to have our legal eagle. We haven't had you in the studio for a little while. Peter Huy from Huy Jacob. How are you, Peter?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Mary.
Yeah, you're very welcome. So today we're going to talk about the Milestone Inspection Report, which is for condos, specifically in Florida. And, tell us a little about how that came about, what they're doing, fill us in.
Okay, well, maybe not, but I'm sure most of you have heard about the Surfside incident where there was a structural issue with a condominium. So this has been, the Milestone Inspection Reports has kind of been the Florida legislature's response to that very tragic event. Mm-hmm. And the idea here is to get condos that are 3 stories and above, get them inspected, see what's there, make sure that they're sound structurally, mm-hmm. So that we don't have a Surfside event ever again. Yeah.
And there's a lot of, timelines that go into the Milestone Inspection Report, like how often they do it. What does that look like?
So the legislature has set forth some guidelines from 25 years out to 30 years. They've modified it at least once where coastal towns were in a 25-year time span from certificate of occupancy. Mm-hmm. They pushed that back to 30, but allowed for the local municipalities to still keep it at 25 for at least coastal towns. Mm-hmm. But what we're seeing is, forget the deadlines. A lot of these associations are getting on top of this now.
Right.
Whether they're required to have a milestone inspection, prior to the end of the year or not. They're doing it now. They're looking at this now. Right. What if the legislature changes again? What if the timelines change again? Plus, if there is actually a real safety issue, I think everybody would agree that it would be better to have the inspection sooner than later.
That's totally right. I think at the end of the day, this is an engineering firm that comes in and looks at the structural integrity of the building.
Yeah, it's going to be probably a group of individuals, engineering, architects, that type mm-hmm. of thing. But yeah, they will come in. The inspection can be in 2 phases. The first phase is, basically to see if there is a potential issue there. If anything turns up on phase 1, then they go into a phase 2, which is a little bit more destructive, but a little bit more in depth.
Okay. Destructive meaning they go in and poke in holes in walls and that sort of thing?
Probably. I'm not a engineer, architect.
Just destructive. We'll go with that word. Now, along with this, law that we've gone into place, there's also some reserve issues. So, Peter, what do the reserves look like? What are they looking for?
So the new reserves, they're referring to them as the structural integrity reserve. Mm-hmm. Certain items are delineated in that, your more important items, such as roof, mm-hmm. structural integrity, plumbing, fireproofing, that type of thing. I don't know how that's going to play out with the condo. In all likelihood, they're going to probably have a separate reserve from their current reserves mm-hmm. for these particular items. But basically, any budget that is adopted, I believe after December 31st of this year, must include an analysis for these items and then start budgeting for this structural integrity reserve.
It's very important when you're looking to buy or sell a condo and really looking at where you are in this process. Because if you're selling it, there may be some issues with assessments that come up. There may be some issues in increasing, your condo fees. If you're buying it, you also want to know what you're walking into.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, if the phase 1 comes back and there are some major issues that need to be done, unfortunately, a lot of current owners, potentially sellers, are going to be looking at some pretty stiff or potentially some stiff special assessments. Yeah. And then certainly if a buyer coming in, the buyer is going to want to do their due diligence to see if the association has started the inspection process, if they've done an inspection, What do the minutes say? What is the
Yes.
status of that building? Is a special assessment coming down the line, whether, it's a month from now, whether it's a year from now? What are the grumblings? So a buyer's going to want to be extra careful going into a condo setting right now.
So a couple things, you get financials when you walk in. That's part of your condo docs. You get 3 days to review those. You can rescind your offer in those 3 days. What we're encouraging our buyers to do, if we don't know about the condo and what they're doing with that, is get a copy of the minutes going back.
And when we say minutes, I'd go back a year, get 12 months worth of minutes. The minutes are going to list all the board meetings, and you generally, from at least a conceptual level, what's being talked about at this condo.
Yeah.
And if an inspection has been scheduled, you'll find it in the minutes. But you got to do that quick. 3 days is not a lot of time.
No. So if you need that and you want to look through that and, or have an attorney look at that, we need to probably extend that, 3-day right of rescission to 5, 10. I don't know. What do you think?
If you can get the minutes prior to even possibly entering into the contract, that would be best. A lot of sellers probably aren't going to want to extend the 3-day right of rescission. And you got to be careful with it. The 3-day right of rescission doesn't necessarily apply to the minutes. Yes, you're able to look at all the condo docs, but that is not one of the delineated documents in your form that says, hey, we've received all the condo docs.
That's right. That's right. So, is it wonderful and safe and all those things to buy a condo in Southwest Florida? You bet. Do you want to know with your eyes wide open what you're walking into? You bet. This is a time to really make sure you're working with trusted professionals, with a real estate agent or team that knows what they're doing. Bartos Group is one of those. There are others out there. And also, I would suggest work with an attorney like Peter Huy, because as you walk through this process, this is real money as you walk down the path of a building that's aging. So until next time, I'm Mary Bartos with the Bartos Group of Premier Plus.
Peter Huy with Huy Jacob, PA.